Very pleased to be joined here at SB Nation by the one and only, the dashing, the debonair, the internationally famous. He rang the bell on Wednesday morning. Very proud of that, as he should be. I have a lot of questions, but it is the one and only Austin Prock. Austin, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you having me on, and it's been a great week so far. Getting the cat out of the bag last week, going with Ford Racing, and all the media that follows that has definitely been fun. I feel like a race car driver again.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations, and really excited for everything going on. We're speaking on Wednesday, January 21st, which is an important day in your world. A special documentary series premiering today on Vice TV. Let's get into that to start. You're on television all the time, but tell us about this 6-part documentary series.
Well, it's definitely going to be entertaining. We've all seen what these docu-series have done for other motorsports and other sports, across the board, across the world. It really gives the viewer or the fan access to get behind the scenes, see the driver's, lifestyle, personality, and, even get behind the lens a little bit of the helmet and see what goes on, to compete at the highest level in the world in NHRA drag racing. So I'm really looking forward to see it. I've probably seen the same previews that everybody out in the public has seen, and to watch this first episode tonight in the docu-series going to the premiere tonight in New York City is definitely exciting. I can't wait to see what it does for our wonderful sport.
Chasing Speed is the name of the 6-part docu-series that will be available on Vice TV, covering NHRA drag racing, as you noted. And you're right. I mean, as someone who's watched these series before that didn't grow up as a fan of motorsport, it uncovers this world. It's kind of like, you ever play a video game and you unlock a sector and like it zooms out and you see the map and it's like all these new territories like sort of uncovering that you can now go explore. That's what this world has been like. I don't love science and don't love physics and things like that, but all of a sudden now I care about coefficients of friction and things like that and how they matter and how they relate and how their competitive advantages, and all that is a part of your day-to-day life that now people get to see.
Yeah, for sure. You're definitely going to see some behind the scenes, some ins and outs, and what actually goes into making one of these race cars go 340 miles an hour, whether it's, the crew chiefs, the crew members, or what it takes, mentally out of a race car driver to get a hold of a beast like this. Our sport is so fantastic, and there's so many great things about it that just really need it exploited, and this is really going to help it.
You threw out the number 340, and it might sound random to someone, but I'm sure that it's kind of burned into your mind specifically. You were the first NHRA funny car driver to reach the specific speed in question. Was it random, or I mean, because it's okay to flex, you know what I mean? It's okay to be like, 340. I was the first, no big deal.
Yeah, to have my name on that accolade is definitely impressive. It's definitely, a stripe that I love to carry on my shirt for sure. So, we all thought it was capable. We thought our race car was capable. When we did it, we were also a little shocked. We didn't think that those conditions were conducive to create, going 0 to 341 miles an hour in 3.8 seconds. But everything happens for a reason. And, the racing gods kind of threw us a bone there. And, we're titled the first ever NHRA driver to go 340 miles an hour. And to do it when we did it, I locked up my first world championship in my rookie season, and we go out there first round at the last race of the year and run the 341 mile an hour number. You really couldn't have written it any better.
Well, congrats, first of all. It is amazing. And I was thinking about this when I saw the name of the docuseries. I obviously understood it was happening, and I saw that it was called Chasing Speed. Very excited about it, not to diminish, but the name is kind of lame because you've already kind of caught the speed. Like you're not chasing it anymore. Does that make sense? Like at least for your parts, it can't be called, if you were the first to hit 340, it's not called chase. That's not a fair representation of what's happening here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from, but the way I look at it is us race car drivers and crew chiefs and crew members, we're adrenaline junkies. We're speed junkies, right. And we're constantly chasing, the faster number. We're always chasing to go faster and faster. And you'll see in this first episode, I have a little bit of a one-liner, and I actually the show was going to be named Chasing Speed, and in the first episode, you'll see they say, "What do you love about NHRA drag racing?" And I say, I just love chasing speed. And they were like, do you know that this documentary is going to be called Chasing Speed? And I'm like, no, sign me up as a producer, man. I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
So
tag
it's
a
kind of
credit
funny
on
how
it.
it all worked out.
Yeah, I'm totally with you in that respect. So this kind of work, this kind of career, this kind of sport, it's the kind of, I was interviewing, this is a real thing. In preparation for the Olympics, I was interviewing B Kim. She's a U.S. snowboarder, and
Okay.
I was like, I can understand how children discover that they have a talent to play basketball, to play football, to play soccer. You're out, on the streets, playground, whatever. All of a sudden, it's like, man, little Johnny's really good at this. How does this happen? Like, I mean, what is the story to where you develop not only a want and a will to do this, but you recognize that you have the because it's not just that. That's at least what I've learned from the documentaries about this. There's an incredible intellect that's involved with manning one of these beasts, to your point. So, like, how did you determine throughout your life that you had what was necessary to do this?
Well, my situation's a little bit different. I was almost bred for this. My family started racing in 1930. My great-grandfather raced Indy cars in the 30s, and every one of us Procs has professionally raced since, every generation. So as soon as I could think, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I wanted to be a professional race car driver. And at 10 years old, I got behind the wheel of my first race car, and I never looked back. Once I got that taste of what it's like to win, to drive, to, fight and compete, it's all I ever thought about, all I ever worked for. Unfortunately, I didn't really put much effort into school because I was so invested in wanting to be in the race shop, wanting to be around the race cars, learning. That's what had my attention my entire life, and that's all I've chased. And, when you put in the hard work and the effort, you can succeed and you can become a professional race car driver like I have.
I think you did put your mindset at school. It's just school is sometimes different for different people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I passed. Yeah, exactly. I definitely didn't. If I would, like my mother always says, if I would have applied myself in school like I did, like in racing, I would have been, a doctor, one of the smartest in the world. So it's just where you apply your energy.
Who would want to, be a heart surgeon when you could go 340 miles an hour? Like, seriously. I mean, like, if we're measuring the two. So I obviously knew about your family. And I think about this a lot when it comes to all sports, because we live in a time where there's media everywhere. We live in a time where everything you do is documented. And you could argue, obviously, that you're in a position that any generation of Proc hasn't been in that I think, like we've kind of been talking, this docuseries will help create fans of NHRA the way it has for other motorsports. But that happens with all sports. I mean, we see basketball getting Netflix documentaries or whatever the case may be. And so you really are in a position where the whole world can start to gravitate to you more than it did any of your ancestors. Is a heavy word, but does that question make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I am in a unique position for the legacy of my family. Right. I'm the fastest one in my family, and now I have a newfound reach, essentially, with Vice TV to exploit, what our family's done in the sport and what NHRA has to offer to the average race fan. I think it's going to be a great documentary, and like you said, you watch these other sporting docu-series, whether it's golf or basketball. In every docu-series that I've watched, I have a new I'm a fan of a new individual in all of them. Someone that I, really didn't pay attention to much before, but once I got to see their lifestyle, how they act, their comedy, etc. You become a fan and you want to cheer that guy on, and hopefully we'll get a lot of attention out of this.
Well, to your point, hopefully we get to learn more about the different personalities of the people involved, not just their skills, driving and whatnot. You're someone whose personality is pretty documented, at least your other primary skill set, if I may, in that you are a chef. And like, not just in like you're cool around the kitchen, or you put something on TikTok or whatever. Like, you're a highly trained chef at the same. This is an incredible skill to marry with your other one, Austin. You're a very unique individual.
Yeah, they definitely don't match up. It's not the typical, two hobbies, essentially, I guess. I get paid for one hobby and the other one I just do for fun. I actually went to culinary arts school out of high school. And one of the best things I ever did, it taught me a lot about, culinary arts and in the basics all the way into, some extreme things, whether it's running a business or how to pair foods and just how to entertain. I can get a hold of, 40 or 50 people and have no problem cooking for all of them, entertaining my race team and, doing what I love. And when you serve someone a nice plate of food, seeing their reaction, seeing their smile is something I really cherish.
I love that. That's you're right. Those are two hobbies at either end of the spectrum, but I'm glad that you hold them. Okay, last two for you. One, what is a food tip then? Like for people who cook, like something that you see people when you go to their parties and whatnot, they're like, man, they're really doing this wrong. They're not culinarily trained like I am. Like what's an easy in the kitchen, standard Wednesday night dinner type tip that you can help people with?
It's really hard to say. I love going and trying my friends' food or different people's food. The nice thing about, being in the kitchen or culinary arts is it's like art. You can do it any way you want, and whatever your flavor is, that's just how it rolls. And some people will love it and some people won't. But, just being in the kitchen and practicing, that's all I did as a kid when I wasn't at the race shop. I was in the kitchen just trying stuff. And let me tell you, I probably wasted a lot of food and made things that were horrible. But, the more mistakes you make, the better. You just have to learn from them. And like my dad says, bad information is just as valuable as good information. It just depends on how you use it. And you just got to try and practice and you'll become great at it.
That's a great saying. Some great sayings from your family, as it is pretty obvious. Also, if I may offer, you have a potential third hobby as a politician, because that was a really diplomatic answer. That was really like, oh, you can do anything. I'm cool with whatever. I'm not going to judge you whatsoever.
Don't put me in politics. I'll get in trouble.
Last one for you, Austin. So you've done a great job at helping the audience who is maybe the casual fan understand, the portal to this world and what makes it interesting. But for the hardos, for the sickos, for the people who, are super excited about this, potentially showing and uncovering something they don't know about this sport, what's something that they can look forward to? I know you obviously said that you haven't seen everything or whatnot, but in terms of what you understand, what can they, hope to learn or hope to glean from this docuseries?
Well, I think that you're just going to see the ins and outs of what it takes to be a professional racer in the world of NHRA drag racing. When you watch these race cars go up to the starting line and you stand on the gas and, they fly. They go 0 to 340 miles an hour in 3.8 seconds. But nobody really understands what goes into it from, the smallest job to the biggest job. Everybody's job is so important. And the time and energy that you have to put in and how meticulous you have to be, when we're building these engines or building these parts for the race car, 1/1000th of an inch or 2/1000th of an inch matter so much. That can be the difference between performing at a high level or performing in mid pack. So just how finite everything is and how much of a team sport it is. There's 11 of us individuals working on one race car, including the driver and the crew chiefs, and then all of the crew. And each one of us to turn on 4 win lights on, one given Sunday to win the race, everybody has to put in 110%, and there's no mistakes available. And there's so many ways to screw this up. So when you finally get the job done, and you see how gratifying it is, I think that's this docuseries is really going to showcase a lot of that.
That's awesome. I think that's a great answer. And you're right. There's a lot of, nothing but harmony that's required, obviously, for the results that you're seeking. The docuseries premieres today, Wednesday, January 21st, but the season begins March the 6th down in Gainesville. We talked about school. I'm actually in grad school at the moment, Austin, and I don't think you can tell, but this is a Florida Gators polo. It's got a bunch of little gators right there.
Okay,
I wore this for you. It was planned.
Yeah, right on.
You think just because you went to culinary arts school, you can host and entertain and tie everything together? Look at that. That was some harmony for me.
Yeah, that was some good heads up play right there. So I hope we can catch you out at the drag races this year.
I appreciate it, Austin. Well, enjoy the rest of New York City. Oh, last one, I promise. But what's for someone who loves food, what's the best thing you've eaten in New York so far?
There's everywhere I've gone, it's been phenomenal. I don't think you can find a bad bite of food here in New York City. I was actually just here a few weeks ago. I got engaged to my fiance, Caitlin, and we ate really well on our trip. But one of the places that really stood out to me, I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's like Coca-Cola or something like that. But it is it is a 5 Michelin star fried chicken restaurant. And I'm not even that big of a fried chicken fan, but this stuff was impressive. I don't know how they do it, but it definitely is addicting, and it's worth the money. We'll put it that way.
That's well said. Well, congratulations, not just on the engagement. That's the most important thing, and congratulations to Kayla that she gets to plan everything now. That's obviously the best part. I can tell you from personal experience. My wife's birthday is tomorrow, so I've been busy this week. Don't tell her, I'm planning stuff. Just keep it between you and I.
I won't. Hopefully, she doesn't watch this.
Hopefully, she does in a different way. But and hopefully, she watches Chasing Speed on Vice TV. Austin, thank you so much. Health, wealth, and happiness. Enjoy the premiere. Enjoy New York. Enjoy the season. We're rooting for you always.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. Have a good one, and happy birthday to your wife.